You are standing in the middle of a sun-drenched downtown plaza during the evening rush hour when every smartphone within a 3-block radius chimes at the exact same millisecond. It is not a standard ringtone, but a harsh screech usually reserved for severe emergency alerts. You pull your phone from your pocket, but the screen does not display a weather warning. Instead, a high-resolution photograph of your face fills the display, framed in bright crimson, accompanied by a bold headline, $1 billion. Cash, fully legal bounty. Active for 24 hours. Beneath your image, a live red dot pulses over a satellite map of the city, locked precisely onto your exact coordinates in the plaza. At the bottom of the display, a digital timer begins ticking down from 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. For the first 10 seconds, nobody moves, because the human brain cannot process an absurdity of this scale. You stand frozen in the cooling evening air, the ambient smell of street food suddenly feeling distant, as if you are observing the world through thick glass. The heavy thudding pulse in your ears drowns out the hum of traffic as you force yourself to power walk toward the subway entrance, eyes fixed on the pavement. 10 yards ahead, you lock eyes with Sarah, a co-worker from accounting with whom you shared a laugh at the coffee machine 3 hours ago. She looks down at her ringing phone, looks up at your face, and looks back at her screen. The warm smile vanishes from her face, replaced by a cold, calculating gaze that makes your stomach drop. Sarah screams your name into the crowd, her voice cracking with greed and hysteria, pointing a trembling finger directly at your chest. In an instant, the peaceful commuter crowd fractures into a chaotic mob of hunters. A man in an expensive suit drops his briefcase, his eyes wide and bloodshot, and lunges toward you with bare hands. You dodge to the right, feeling your jacket tear as his fingers graze your shoulder, and sprint blindly into a narrow alleyway. Your heart thumps wildly, sending a flood of raw adrenaline coursing through your bloodstream. Behind you, the roar of dozens of pounding footsteps echoes off the brick walls, rapidly closing the distance. Your lungs burn with every ragged breath as you vault over metal trash cans, knowing that if you stumble, the crowd will tear you apart for that billion-dollar prize. You duck behind a steel dumpster, gasping for air when your jacket pocket vibrates violently with a second system alert. Pulling out your phone, you see the satellite map has zoomed in, pinpointing your exact position inside the alley with meter-by-meter precision. The device is no longer a tool. It is a live tracking beacon broadcasting your location to every hunter in the city. You sprint to the end of the alley, grab a heavy red brick from a damaged wall, and smash the phone against the pavement with all your strength. The glass shatters into glittering shards, cutting into your knuckles and leaving warm drops of blood on the concrete. You rip out the battery fragment, toss the mangled circuits into a passing garbage truck, and step into the shadows. The digital tether is broken, but you are now completely isolated. You break into a trot along the edge of the street, searching for a way to put distance between yourself and the plaza. Ahead, parked outside a bakery, an old, rusted 90s delivery van sits idling, its exhaust pipe puffing thin gray clouds into the air. You leap into the driver's seat and slam the door, but as you reach for the key, your body refuses to cooperate. The massive adrenaline dump flooding your system has crippled your fine motor skills, leaving your hands shaking so violently that you drop the keys into the dark gap beneath the steering column. You drop to your knees on the greasy floorboards, fingers blindly groping through dirt, while the wailing sirens of approaching police vehicles grow rapidly louder. Outside, civilian cars swerve to block the street, scanning sidewalks with spotlights. Your trembling fingers finally pinch the cold key, you jam it into the ignition, and the aging engine roars to life just as a cruiser rounds the corner. You slam your foot onto the accelerator, surging into evening traffic but within 4 blocks. A police helicopter locks onto your vehicle with a blinding searchlight. Suddenly, the sky above buzzes with the high-pitched whine of tactical drones equipped with thermal cameras, tracking the heat signature of your engine block. Realizing the vehicle is a massive thermal target, you cut the wheel, crashing the van into the glass facade of a vacant storefront to create a wall of debris. You throw open the passenger door, tumble onto the pavement amidst safety glass, and scramble beneath the reinforced glass canopy of a nearby bus shelter. High above, The thermal imaging drone sweeps its invisible infrared laser across the street, but the thick glass ceiling reflects the thermal radiation, completely obscuring your heat signature. You press your sweat-slicked face flat against the cold concrete, holding your breath until the drone's mechanical hum drifts away. Knowing the surface streets are now a death trap, choked with thermal drones and police blockades, you spot a heavy cast-iron utility grate set into the sidewalk adjacent to the bus stop. Using a bent piece of structural rebar from the crashed storefront, you strain until the cover pops free with a loud metallic clang, revealing a vertical drop into darkness. You lower yourself down the narrow ladder, sliding the iron grate back into place overhead just as armed search parties flood the street above. You drop 10 feet into the damp subterranean gloom of an abandoned subway tunnel where the deafening roar of sirens instantly collapses into an eerie, echoing silence. The air down here is heavy with the smell of ozone, damp earth, and decaying trash, chilled to a temperature that makes your blood-stained clothes stick painfully to your skin. You collapse against the cold concrete wall, heaving in the pitch black, listening to the muffled thrum of a city hunting you directly above. 10 minutes into the dark silence, a sudden flash of white light cuts through the subterranean fog, accompanied by the echo of tactical boots crunching on ballast rock. Heavily armed SWAT teams equipped with night vision goggles and infrared scopes have breached the access tunnels, advancing in a disciplined sweep to corner you. You scramble deeper into the labyrinth of active train lines, keeping your back pressed against the curved masonry wall as you creep along the narrow ledge. Directly beside your boots lies the exposed metal casing of the third rail, humming with 600 volts of lethal electrical current. One misstep in the dark means instant electrocution. Tactical flashlights behind you throw long, distorted shadows of your body against the tunnel ceiling as officers call out grid sectors over their radios. You press forward through the gloom until your hands hit a cold steel blast door at the end of the corridor. You are completely trapped in a subterranean dead end, with less than 2 minutes remaining on the global bounty timer. With the tactical team closing to within 30 yards, their night vision optics glowing eerie green in the darkness, you duck inside an adjacent industrial maintenance room filled with vintage plumbing valves. You spot a heavy iron wheel attached to an overhead high-pressure steam line that services the station's heating infrastructure. Gathering every remaining ounce of strength in your bruised body, you slam a steel pipe wrench against the rusted valve wheel, snapping the iron seal and releasing a roaring wall of superheated white steam into the narrow corridor. The violent blast of ambient thermal energy instantly washes out the night vision and thermal tracking optics of the advancing SWAT team, blinding their sensors and forcing them to drop back into cover behind concrete pillars. You crouch low beneath the rising cloud of scalding vapor, your heart hammering against your ribs. Watching the glowing red numbers on your broken watch face count down the final agonizing seconds. 3, 2, 1. At exactly midnight, a unified series of digital pings echoes down from the streets above and across every tactical radio receiver in the tunnel. Bounty expired. The dense cloud of steam slowly dissipates into the damp air, revealing the tactical officers lowering their rifles and securing their weapons without speaking a single word. The legal mandate that transformed you into quarry has vanished as abruptly and arbitrarily as it began, returning the city to its ordinary legal order. You haul your battered, exhausted body up the concrete stairs of the main subway exit, emerging into the crisp, blinding glare of early morning sunlight. The plaza where your nightmare started is quiet, littered with discarded coffee cups and broken glass, with early morning commuters walking silently past police cruisers that are already packing away their perimeter tape. You stand on the sidewalk, trembling violently from the post-adrenaline crash, bleeding from your knuckles, entirely untouched by the law yet utterly destroyed inside. You walk slowly past the bakery, your eyes hollow, and spot Sarah standing by the crosswalk waiting for the light to change. As you pass within arm's reach, she quietly slides her phone into her coat pocket, averts her gaze for a split second, and then turns to offer you a tight, forced professional smile, asking if you are ready for the morning status meeting. In that silent moment, looking into the eyes of a person who tried to sell your life 12 hours ago for a pile of gold, you realize that the manhunt will never truly end. The timer hit 0, but the illusion of civilization has been stripped away forever, and for the rest of your life, every smile from a friend, a neighbor, or a stranger will look like a target on your chest.